Welcome to Iron Plane Presents.
And the final piece that we've talked about for this category, this bucket, is something that I think you've touched on just naturally when you've talked about, taxonomy, or you've talked about search results, or you've talked about mobile usability or even accessibility, and that's the UX portion. What's the relevance here of that?
So UX, we have a UX team, and I think what I've talked about here, it's all very relevant, but it's all very tactical, like best practices that kind of fit for any site, right? Whereas the UX analysis, our team comes in and really does a deep dive on the business, on the customers, and finds out what's the path of least resistance for your customers to be shopping online. Improving upon what you have now. Sometimes that's a complete rewrite of the theme and the modules in use and how you're, what's the ordering flow. It depends on the complexity of the requirements, but generally it's like starting from the drawing board and looking at the current state, but also saying what would this look like in its most optimized experience for different customer groups.
So that's the UX is kind of charting the path of your customer groups within your website environment, and just with that kind of more thoughtful analysis, what are the outcomes that could improve the site?
I see. I can give one example. So there was a site that had approximately 15-20 steps for a customer to get to the cart. That was creating an account, choosing a retailer. Sometimes they would go to a product page first and then find out they have to choose a retailer to purchase from, then come back to the cart and then add it to the cart. And then when they get to the retailer, or when they get to the cart and they try to ship it somewhere else, so that retailer is not valid, so they have to go back again, choose a different retailer. It was a very messy situation. And it was just the requirements of this business that said, if you are within this shipping zip area, you have to be tied to this retailer. You can't purchase directly from us if you're in this territory. But just the implementation on the front end was very cumbersome for the customer to, if you chose the perfect path, it's still too many steps. So what we ended up doing was just a rewrite from a UX perspective, taking, and this set of requirements kind of grows over time as it does with any business. But you have to fit in the new requirement kind of in the middle. But now taking a fresh look at all the requirements, what's the simplest way that we can make this happen? And actually the solution was keep the website normal from a catalog perspective, from a product page perspective. And then once you get into checkout, that's where you're choosing your shipping zip code, and then it tells you, okay, you can purchase this through this retailer. It's kind of an automated thing. It's not just pushing them off the site. They're still checking out, but it's fulfilled by the retailer. But it's just eliminating that initial implementation that was done to make customers choose a retailer first. So that's one example for this specific company. But the UX audit is a very tailored audit that digs into how can we go beyond tactics and best practices and actually make the website more tailored to your customers' needs.
Yeah, great. And the results in conversions, I'm sure, will follow.
For more insight on how to improve your e-commerce website, visit ironplane.com. Follow us on social media and like and subscribe below.